This is an ABC News special report.
Hi, everyone. I'm Phil Lipoff. We are coming on the air right now to bring you the latest on the storm reports that continue to pour in from across this country. 22 tornadoes have been reported across 6 states so far. Tornado warnings are still in effect right now north of Nashville in Tennessee and in parts of Kentucky. That state, unfortunately, now reporting at least 70 dead from a devastating tornado outbreak in western Kentucky. These pictures are dramatic and difficult to look at. The preliminary reports of the primary tornado there on the ground for more than 200 miles. At least 3 others died in severe weather in Tennessee, and there is, at this time, 1 person confirmed to have lost their life when a tornado went through an Arkansas nursing home. Kathy O'Nan, mayor of Mayfield, Kentucky, joins us now on the phone. Kathy, can you hear me?
Yes, Phil, I can.
Okay, first of all, I just have to say before we get into the particulars of what's going on there, our hearts and thoughts are with you and your entire city, because we know Mayfield there was hit so incredibly hard, and in the overnight hours is probably the worst time for this to happen. How are you doing? How are your people doing who are out there who've been rescuing people all night long?
My people are doing extremely well, Phil. There's nothing that touches your heart more than a first responder hard at work. And we not only have first responders from our city and our county and western Kentucky counties, but they are here from as far away as Louisville, Kentucky, and have been here since before dawn. And we are so blessed to have them here with us.
Yeah, this needs to be one of those all hands on deck, everybody helping out, because what we're looking at right now, I'm not sure if you can see it, is devastation from block to block. We know there was a factory there that was hit particularly hard, but this tornado destroyed everything in its path. Do you know the extent of the damage yet in Mayfield?
I do not. I have been out to the MCP, the candle factory, which is the point of our greatest loss of life that we know now. I have no numbers for you there. It was, of course, a night shift. This hit us about, I'm going to say around 9:30 last night. And so this company ships candles internationally, and I think they were getting ready, for big Christmas shipments. And so the devastation there is horrendous. And I was just out there probably an hour ago. The governor, the judge executive, and I and other local officials were there. And the effort, we hope, is still a rescue effort, but more than likely now it is a primarily recovery effort.
It's hard to hear. Mayor, your governor has said that at least 70 people are dead. Loss of life could go up to around 100. When you were out there at the factory, describe for me, if you can, and I know I've seen one of the worst tornadoes to hit this country was in Moore, Oklahoma back in '99, and I was there for that. I know what the devastation looks like, but it's hard to explain to people. Tell me, please, what it is you witnessed out there at the factory.
At the factory, which is so much metal and steel in that construction, that it looks as if it is just a bomb has gone off. And you hear that all the time, but unless you are standing in front of it, it doesn't really hit you. Our city hall, which houses not only the city government offices, but our police department and our fire department, which is one of our stations is right there at that campus, they are both completely destroyed. And when the sun began to come up this morning and I walked out to view the city, all I could think of was matchsticks. It looks like matchsticks. Our buildings are destroyed. My church is destroyed. Our downtown's churches are destroyed. We have no water here. Our water supply has been compromised. There is no electricity within the city. There are parts within our county that do have some electricity, and so we're trying our best to get those who have lost their homes into shelters there. Churches have opened up their buildings for us there, and so we have 2 local school systems, which are wonderful, and they are busing people out there. We have received, even though our water source is compromised, we have pallets and pallets and pallets of water. Every type, I've heard from so many mayors all over the state, every type of aid that you can think that we need immediately is pouring into our small community.
Absolutely. You're on the southwestern corner of the state near Tennessee, and we know that was obviously right in the path of the tornado. I would expect mayors from all across, as you said, are going to be sending people your way. You talk about matchsticks, and people will say a tornado sounds like a train was coming, and the devastation was horrific, and everybody says the same thing because this kind of devastation is just that. Things that defy logic. You're turning around and looking at cars tossed up on top of buildings and trucks thrown everywhere, and people hear that, but when you see it and when you're standing in it, it doesn't feel like anything you've experienced in this country, because people say it does feel like a war zone. Everywhere you look, there's no power, there's no water, there are no buildings left standing. What's the population of Mayfield?
Our population is just under 10,000 after the last census.
All right, and so where are you housing? You said there are a couple schools and you're busing people, but what's the process right now as the sun has come up to get people to safety?
Well, we have an emergency operations center set up, and I don't have that number right in front of me, but people can call here and they can be told where to go for food and shelter and water. Immediately, the Mayfield City High School opened last night. We had many people in the basement at City Hall sheltering in place there. We had many people in the bays of our fire department sheltering there. And as soon as we could, one of the big problems was getting through the streets. A policeman came to pick me up to get me to City Hall, and we backtracked all over the place because power lines were down and poles were down, and just everything was through flying about, but it was just very difficult to get there. So as soon as the buses could safely get there, they began busing the people to the City High School, and now they have been utilized to bus them into smaller communities out in the outlying county.
Talk about defying logic. We're looking at some of the video right now, and there are blocks and areas completely decimated, and then a couple of houses standing just across the street. Go ahead.
I live about 4 or 5 blocks from City Hall. And, of course, I was in my basement, and I heard the train, which I hope I never hear again. But when that subsided, I realized my house, I didn't hear glass breaking. I didn't hear anything. And for maybe 5 minutes, I thought, oh, thank you, Lord, we've escaped this. And then I began getting the calls from the police chief and the fire chief and realized no. But I'm just being 5 blocks from there, and we just drove down that. It's a main street of town, and it's just amazing. And it's what everything you hear about when these devastations hit all over the United States. 5 blocks away, my house stands perfectly still. All I have is no power and no water. And then 5 blocks away, we lost our entire city government center.
My goodness, Mayor. I'm wondering, you're getting help from the state, obviously. Do you know if and when you might get any help from the government? Has anybody reached out to you, or are we still too soon?
Yes. Well, the governor was here. Governor Brashear was here. We were his stop before he went on to the town where he grew up, even a smaller town than us. And he was obviously moved here, and then really scared about what he would find when he went on to the little town of Dawson Springs. The National Guard has arrived. We know we have feet on the ground from Frankfort, our capital city, and we know that Governor Brashear has been in contact with the White House, and that this area has been declared a disaster center. So we are expecting help and are getting it locally very, very quickly. But we know that nationally and statewide is soon to follow.
Yeah, and when we've seen tornadoes this size, it's not days and weeks, it's months and sometimes even a year plus for the recovery, because the devastation is just so widespread. Mayor, I know you have a lot to do today. I just want to quickly get in for those who are watching and maybe missing loved ones right now, still looking for somebody, not understanding what part of what area has been devastated. What would you say to folks in and around your town who are looking to find someone for the rest of today?
I'm at the Emergency Operating Center, but I was with the governor at the candle factory, so I wasn't here to hear that part. I would tell them I don't have the number for the Emergency Operating Center, but we do have a church, the Catalyst Church, that is located on the north side of town, and they are kind of serving as a clearinghouse, I know, for the volunteers, so they might be able to help people in that capacity as well.
All right. Mayor Kathy O'Nan, Mayfield, Kentucky, one of what we understand right now, one of the hardest towns hit overnight. The damages and the loss of life is devastating. We know you have a lot to do today. We want you to be safe. We want all your folks to be safe. And best of luck to you. We'll check in with you.
Thank you. We are a strong people. We don't agree all the time, but when disaster comes knocking on our door, we work together, and that's exactly what began at 10 o'clock last night.
Well, the nation's going to be watching, and everybody is with you for sure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much.
All right, Mayor, thanks so much. All right, so that was Mayor Kathy O'Nan from Mayfield, Kentucky. You heard her talk. There's a church on the north side of town where they are gathering and people are looking for folks. But, you know, she said those words you hate to hear in the immediate aftermath of devastation like this, that it's more of a recovery effort at this time. There is a factory there where there were a lot of people working a night shift when this massive tornado hit, and it doesn't seem like they had time to get out of the way. The video you're looking at on the right side of your screen is utter devastation from block to block. You'll see some houses standing. Tornadoes don't make sense when they tear through any part of any town. Look, you see there on the left side of your screen, houses are standing. There are probably still beds made in those houses, yet everything to the right side of the screen is devastated. And that's really the terrifying part about tornadoes. Yeah, okay. So listen, we have Elwin Lopez, who's been there on the ground for us all night and has filed reports for Good Morning America and has one for us now. Elwin.
Hey, Phil, complete devastation wherever you look. Take a look at this. This used to be a church. Now it's reduced to piles of debris, and that's what we've been seeing block after block. You just see complete destruction anywhere you look. And take a look at people here who are coming out this morning to check out what is left behind of their community after those tornadoes struck this area. We know that one tornado was on the ground for reportedly more than 200 miles. I spoke to one woman. She says she's lived here for 67 years and she hasn't seen anything like this before. She said some of the structures are unrecognizable right now. We saw a woman as we were moving into this area this morning, and she said that she was looking for her 70-year-old aunt. I spoke to her a few hours ago, and she said that unfortunately a rescue team, recovery team found her aunt, and she did not survive. But it just shows you what so many families are going through this morning, looking for their loved ones, some of them missing. We talked to officials here who said that they don't have numbers right now as to how many fatalities they will be seeing today. Phil.
Thank you. Heartbreaking and devastating, but so important for Elwin to continue to bring us these pictures so that the nation can see just how bad this is and then help in any way they can. The White House has just weighed in on this. You heard the mayor say that she knows her governor, Beshear, talked to President Biden, but now we're getting confirmation from the White House. I just want to bring you what we just got. President Biden spoke to Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear this morning. The White House says to express his condolences for the lives lost and the devastation to the state caused by the deadly weather overnight. According to, this was a readout of a call provided to us by the White House, and they say the president indicated that he has directed FEMA and other federal agencies to provide the speediest assistance possible to impacted communities. We're told the White House and President Biden continue to remain and will remain in touch with Governor Beshear and as this goes on. And as I said, these things aren't, it's going to be days like when we have a bad blizzard or we have a hurricane sometimes. Tornado damage is utterly devastating, and don't take my word for it, just look at the pictures on your screen. This is Mayfield, Kentucky, one of the hardest hit areas where a candle factory went down, you know, at 9 o'clock at night when the overnight shift was working, and there's a lot of loss of life there. The mayor says she doesn't know how many people, but her governor has told us he expects at least 70 right now, and up to 100 people may be dead in Kentucky. And really, they're estimating right now, this is just the beginning. I mean, this happened overnight when it is the scariest time for a tornado to hit. overnight because you can't see where things are going and what's happening. Then the sun rises and you see pictures like this, and everybody has to kind of get their head around what kind of damage there is, and is their house standing, is their neighbor's house standing, are their family members accounted for, and that's what's going on right now. So 70 to 100 people in Kentucky, that's what the governor's estimating. Hopefully it will. I mean, it's a horrific number, but hopefully it won't go over that because they are going to have to tear through all of these areas, these pockets where they can't get to. You heard the mayor say when she was picked up this morning by a police officer, they had to backtrack. They couldn't get to where they were going straight. And that's another problem in the aftermath of tornadoes. So many areas are blocked, and you have to find alternate ways to go. So this is going to be a long haul. We are certainly in it with the folks in those 6 states that were hit. We're going to be covering this. We have many crews on the ground that will be bringing you all the information on World News tonight, Good Morning America tomorrow, and we will, of course, have coverage here on ABC News Live, streaming for you throughout the afternoon. And we'll have the day's top stories for you as well. We know we're focusing on this right now because it's in the nation's heartland and it is utterly devastating. But we'll be streaming all afternoon, give you the top headlines as well. But for now, I'm Phil Lipoff. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you in about an hour.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.